I'm Marvel. This channel exists to connect gamers to MMOs they'll love. In this series, I play perhaps the most underrated MMORPG on Steam, Project Gorgon. It's inspired by classic MMOs like EverQuest, Asheron's Call 1, and Star Wars Galaxies, currently sitting at a very positive score on Steam in early access with a demo available for free. Thank you for watching and subscribe for more MMO content. In the last episode, we finally were on our way back to Gearshock, the Ronalon who unenthusiastically agreed to teach us shamanic infusion, if we can secure his friendship. To do so, I've needed a meditation stool that I so happened to find in Eltapule Hills, yet I don't know whether or not it's enough to garner his favor. It so happens that it is. I can finally use shamanic infusion. The first recipe learned upgrades the armor of a boot by 15, yet costs 100 crafting points, and adds a requirement of shamanic infusion level 1 to wear. I have no idea what crafting points are, so we'll have to investigate. I open up the skills menu to learn more, yet I end up empty-handed. I open the recipe menu, and while I see the requirement to infuse my first item, no description of what crafting points are is listed. Regardless, I need Ranalong tongues, so where's the best place to loot them? Of course, in the Ranalong cave I was too weak to delve in the first season. While I am more skilled with more powerful abilities and sturdier equipment, I'm not sure if it'll be enough to save my skin and my wasp. I begin by body pulling, yet I need to be careful as we fight through these narrow yet dense corridors. Ranalons are individually not particularly dangerous, yet their evasiveness and numbers maintain a consistent threat. Yet Chira, like Gearshock, seems open to a conversation. Even though he thinks I'm a druid, despite having only spoken to a trainer, he offers his interpretation of the purpose of his race, which is at dissonant odds with Gearshock's perspective. In his mind, the goal is the biological predetermination of a species to overwhelm and conquer adjacent areas to these nests. I presume the player is left to decide which version they choose to color the Ranalon expansion in this area. Yet either way, it does not stop us from continuing our journey deeper into these halls. Long story short, he wishes to obstruct the purpose he perceives at work in this den, and thus requests that we kill 4 martial supervisors. So we're off to go trying to hunt these managerial frogs like a dev GRU operation. Up next are leglings. They are half as tough as a typical bipedal amphibian, yet come in tighter packed squads. You may notice that I am now able to bury corpses. This not only provides compassion experience, yet also increases the spawn rate for that type of monster within the zone. I presume there are circumstances in which you would not wish to overwhelm your future self with more spawns, yet now isn't one of them. Ahead are mages. We have not encountered these yet. However, they share the same statistical distribution as leglings. I presume they are the arcane ranged version of their martial counterparts, yet hopefully not more deadly. If you recall in an earlier episode in which I complained about the interactive boxes around creatures, then despite my frustration, this misclick answers a lingering question. How do you know what your pet's abilities are? If you check your pet at the bottom of the UI, their abilities are written. While there are stats for stats and systems for systems, what are important are the Bee Eject and Wasp Ranged, both of which tie to Sikkim and Trick skills. However, it isn't clear if Ice Stab is used by default or if it needs to be triggered by other means. I wish that Project Gorgon automatically grabbed this data and superimposed it onto the skill pop-up when your pet is active, because I was left entirely guessing what was special about this gifted wasp. A detail I do adore about this cave, and dungeons in general in Project Gorgon, is that they tend to have useful incidental loot available the further you delve. In this case, there is a food bowl next to a pond of lungfish. While my cooking abilities nor fishing skill is sufficient to make use of them, at least I know where they swim now. So far so good, right? This legling certainly cannot prohibit our excursion, but we become outflanked. And before I can even make sense of the moment, my beloved flying arthropod collapses onto the ground with a final onomatopoetic buzz. Sorry, benevolent Hippocratic kitty, I have failed you. Since my first aid skill is too low to resuscitate fallen comrades, I do remember that I can call a pet from another stable slot. This is one utility of the skill animal handling being developed in this way. If one pet fails, and assuming you have another worthy of battle, you can call them to your side at will. I should mention that some combat skills do not have to be on your main hotbar. In this case, similar to first aid or dig deep, I do not have to disrupt my primary build to accommodate another summoning skill. And now I am graced by the presence of a giant sewer rat. A small offshoot is ahead, with stone shapers inside. Perhaps we'll find a supervisor. Despite being unaware of my current power level, in my reconnaissance I accidentally secure the attention of these earth-bending toads. Thankfully, I have a bow equipped, making distance moot, yet since I'm low on power, I will need to allocate energy appropriately. Somehow the rodent survives without drawing the attention of the group to the left. Dungeon delving alone in Project Gorgon is tricky and equally enjoyable. After making quick work of the others, I approach puddle shells. While there is no obvious use for them, I anticipate returning to this very area in the future in order for a particular use case. While I do like this style of Zelda, here's a feature you can't use yet, I also prefer if more hints were given, since the only additional details I have about this surprising item is that you can't use it. But that isn't very interesting, nor do I have a route to explore in order to discover its potential utility. However, because it looks like a defensive shell, it's my impression that these could simply be foreshadowing a potential mob type to be encountered deeper in the dungeon. Yet these are mere musings. Here are the supervisors of the Mage Order. While they seem defeatable enough solo, it's exceptionally unlikely that my duo would have any reasonable chance of success against this horde. But where's the fun in retreat? I somehow only pull one, without it calling for the others. I tried to extend the luck I've enjoyed, partially by being more mindful of my pet's state. I keep it docile until I absolutely need it to engage, which enables me to continue to pull mobs back away from their allies. Moreover, I make some room in my inventory by distilling some items down into phlogiston for transmutation. This is how you acquire the magical enhancement currency. Yet, as fate would demand, we are eventually overrun, like the unbreakable defenders of Helm's Deep. However, as I make my revenge for the defeat of both my loyal pets, a system announcement is broadcast, presumably to the entire server, that goblins and ranalongs are going to attack Durston at the end. While he's discriminated against me due to my lineage, despite me helping secure his lost novel for his late wife, this opportunity is too epic to pass up. I quickly ride my steed to the constellation of humble dwellings past the Ranalon Lake. Could this invasion be the manifestation of the goal as mentioned by Chira? Watch the next episode to find out. Thanks for watching.